So, Tom, what about that? I mean, are you throwing the baby out with the bathwater, or why not just try to, change the curriculum?
You know what? I was on that March on Washington in summer of 1963. I just graduated from high school, where Martin Luther King gave his famous speech saying we should be judged by the quality of our character and not the color of our skin. And that has been my most fundamental belief my entire life, that we are individuals. We are not exemplars of the race we were born into. And this philosophy that's preached by this program in Tucson and by your other guest, that's a race-obsessed philosophy, and it's a downer philosophy. Teach people that they're oppressed,
look,
make them angry,
you know what?
Make it so that they
here's the
don't
reality.
have hope for their future.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in, too. I'm saying that it's not about, you keep saying downer. Look, it's a downer that people are oppressed. It's a downer that people are depressed. It's a downer that people suffer injustice.
That's not what you should be teaching.
But hold on. But the thing is, if we don't deal with the downers, we can't deal with what's up. We got to deal with, how many stories have we told about Benjamin Franklin? How many stories have we told about Aaron Burr? How many stories have we told about the founding fathers and brothers? And then let's tell the truth about Thomas Jefferson, a great American. He wrote the Declaration of Independence, but he also one of the authors, but he was also a slaveholder. Let's tell the truth about the downer to Sally Hemings, and then we can tell the full truth about Thomas Jefferson and the full arc of democracy. This kind of ostrich approach where we deny the legitimacy of people, first we oppress them, then we get mad if they say they were oppressed, and then when they say they're part of American history, we deny them. This is a central part of American history that we need to know.
Let's teach American history to all of the kids, and we can show both sides of issues when we teach history to all the kids, but don't divide them by race and teach the black kids black history, the Chicano kids Chicano history, the Asian kids Asian history. They should all be exposed to all the history. Absolutely. And it's a race-obsessed philosophy that should be kept out of our schools, that kids should be put in courses where they only learn about the history of the race they happen to have been born into. That is the wrong philosophy for the American public schools.
If you have been demoralized and degraded and your history has not been taught, why should we have to have a special class for Chicano studies? Why doesn't the larger curriculum deal with the profound and sophisticated contributions of Chicano people to American society? Once that happens,
we have that in our standards.
Once that happens, let me finish.
Once
that happens, then when we integrate the full arc of the contributions of demoralized and degraded peoples into the curriculum, then we won't need that curriculum. Until that time.
I got to jump in here, Tom. Let me ask you, a lot of your critics say, look, this is about politics. You want to run for Attorney General. You're running for Attorney General. Your term is up as Superintendent. Is that true? You're running for Attorney General?
Yes, I am running for Attorney General. I've served 8 years as superintendent of schools, and that's all that's allowed.
So to your critics who say this is about politics, you're basically trying to appeal to potential voters out there.
I've been fighting for this law for 4 years, and this is among my most deeply held beliefs. I mentioned to you being on the March on Washington where Martin Luther King gave his speech. I believe very deeply that people are individuals. They are not exemplars of the race they were born into. And this race-obsessed philosophy that your other guest is expounding, and it's going on in Tucson, is wrong for the American public schools.
It's not race-obsessed. First of all, you repeated that same statement earlier, so it's a great line. But the reality is, Martin Luther King Jr. said, the whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundation of this nation until the Negro, and we can add others, are granted his full citizenship rights. He talked about the bitter legacy of white supremacy before he began to talk about that dream. And then he said that in America, it's an ideal toward which we should strive. But in the meantime, we should adjust to the reality that we have some negative realities that we should adjust to and that we should address. And I think that Martin Luther King Jr. cannot be used to justify xenophobic and racist passions that are dressed up as desires to reform the curriculum.
Well, I would say the xenophobia and the racism is on your side.
Not at all. I don't want to keep anybody out. I don't want to keep anybody out. I want to include all people. I don't want Arizona has been deeply, profoundly racist and xenophobic.
Kids by race. You want to divide kids by race.
No, I want white kids to learn about Chicano people. I want white kids to learn about African American people.
Inspired us all by saying that we should be judged by the content of our character and not the color of our
skin. The night before he died,
and that
Martin
is
Luther
what
King
we
Jr.
should
said,
be
America,
teaching
all I
in our
ask you is
public
to
schools.
be true to what you said
Treat
on paper.
people as individuals.
One at a time, because both at a time, no one's going to listen.
Against
Michael,
the
finish up.
American people and others, now you must raise them up. Martin Luther King Jr. cannot be taken out of context, and you can't use one speech as if you froze him in 1963 without seeing what he said in 1968, where he was bitterly opposed to the practices of most of what America was doing in the name of freedom and democracy. That's the tradition, I think, that the people who support Chicano studies in Arizona are carrying forward.
Tom, I want you to be able to show on, then we got to go.
Okay, it is not out of context to say that he's inspired us all with the idea that we are to be judged as individuals. What can we do? What is our character? Not what race do we happen to have been born into. Don't divide kids by race. Don't propagandize kids that they're oppressed and that they have no future and they should be angry at this country.
But anyone
teach them that this is the land of opportunity.
Right?
Teach them that this is the land of opportunity where if they work hard, they can achieve their dreams. and teach them American history.
Tom, anyone, just for accuracy's sake, anyone can take these classes.
Anyone can take the classes,
Okay.
but they're designed primarily for the race,
Tom
either
Horn,
the African American, the
Gotta leave it.
Chicano,
Tom Horn,
the
Michael
Asian,
Eric
or the
Dyson.
Indian.
Guys, I appreciate your time. Good discussion.